Most people think the hardest part of flying is getting to the airport, or making it through security, or surviving the flight itself. But honestly, I think one of the easiest places to make mistakes is after the plane lands. Because the moment those wheels touch the runway, something changes. Everyone suddenly seems to be in a hurry. People are jumping out of their seats, they're reaching into overhead bins, they're squeezing into the aisle. They're trying to get off the plane as quickly as possible, and before you know it, that calm travel day you've worked so hard to create has turned into chaos. The truth is, the first 30 minutes after landing can set the tone for the rest of your trip. This is when people forget passports or leave phones behind, walk the wrong direction, miss important signs, or simply start their vacation feeling rushed. Today, I want to show you the 9 mistakes I see travelers make during those first 30 minutes and the simple habits that make the entire arrival process feel calmer. Let's get into it. Mistake number 1, standing up before you're ready. The first mistake actually happens before the aircraft door even opens. We've all seen it. The seatbelt sign turns off, you hear that little ding overhead, and instantly half the airplane jumps to its feet. Now, if standing helps your back or you simply want to stretch your legs, I completely understand. That's not the mistake. The mistake is standing up before you've taken 10 seconds to make sure you're not leaving anything behind. Because here's what usually happens. People stand and they focus on getting into the aisle. They're watching the rows ahead start moving. They're thinking about baggage claim, their connection, their rental car, their hotel, and meanwhile, their phone is still sitting in the seat back pocket, or their Kindle, or their passport, or their AirPods, or their glasses. I've mentioned this in a couple of other videos, but I really believe most forgotten items aren't left behind because people are careless. They're left behind because people change mental gears too quickly. The moment we land, our brain stops thinking about the airplane and starts thinking about the destination. And that's completely natural. But it also creates the perfect opportunity to leave something behind. So here's my routine. Before I even unbuckle my seatbelt, I do one final sweep. Seat back pocket, under the seat, my lap, my charging cable if I used one. I don't stand until I know everything is back where it belongs, and it takes maybe 10 seconds. And those 10 seconds can save you a whole lot of frustration later. And once you do stand, don't forget to check the overhead bin, because once you walk off that airplane, getting back on isn't exactly easy. Mistake number 2, grabbing your bag in a panic. Now, let's talk about what happens next. The overhead bin opens and suddenly everyone feels like they have to grab their bag immediately, even if the row in front of them hasn't moved, even if the aircraft door is still closed. Now, there are certainly times when getting your bag down early makes sense. I mean, if you're in the aisle seat and your row is about to move, absolutely. But what I often see is people lifting heavy bags, holding them awkwardly, twisting sideways in the aisle while nobody is actually going anywhere. And all they're doing is making themselves tired or risking dropping a bag on themselves or someone else. A simple reminder after you land: you can't miss your time to deplane. And there's no prize for being the first person standing in the aisle with your suitcase. If the rows ahead of you aren't moving, there's usually no reason to rush. Instead, just let the cabin start flowing naturally. When your row is getting close, then you grab your bag. And just everything feels calmer, everything feels safer, and honestly, people around you appreciate it too. One other thing I always recommend is before you pull your suitcase down, make sure you've got a good grip. Overhead bins sometimes shift during the flight. Things move around and that bag may be heavier than you remember. Take your time and control it all the way down, because the last thing you want is your vacation beginning with a suitcase landing on your shoulder or somebody else's. Mistake number 3, forgetting the seat pocket. Now, here's the mistake I think almost every traveler has made at least once: leaving something in the seat back pocket. Honestly, I dislike seat back pockets. Not only are they one of the germiest places on the airplane, they're also one of the easiest places to forget your belongings. And there's a simple reason. The seat back pocket is physically separated from everything else you own. Your backpack comes with you. Your carry-on comes with you. Your jacket comes with you. But the things you slide into that pocket, they disappear from view, and out of sight is out of mind. That's why individual items never get placed into the seat back pocket. I have my seat back savior pouch, part of the Luxe 4-pouch system we talk about often. And this pouch has all of the essentials I need for a smooth flight. Things like my phone charger, my AirPods, my AirPod necklace, my AirFly. A full pouch I can easily see and grab at the end of my flight. It's one thing versus many, because every item you scatter around your seat becomes another thing your brain has to remember later. And that's exactly what we're trying to avoid. Now, if you do use a seat back pocket, that's perfectly okay. Just make it part of your final sweep before you stand up. Reach in, feel all the way to the bottom, because smaller things like charging cables or lip balms or earbuds have a funny way of getting really down in there. And if you do this, please use hand sanitizer after, because those pockets are really germy and you don't want to risk any of that getting on your face. Okay, by this point, you've successfully made it off the airplane, but the next few decisions are where travelers often lose even more time, because now you're entering the airport itself. Your phone is reconnecting and everyone is walking in different directions, and the temptation is to simply follow the crowd. In the next part, we'll talk about why that's often the wrong move and how a few simple habits can make those next 15 minutes much calmer and much easier. Mistake number 4, waiting too long to get reconnected. Once you're off the airplane, there's one little thing I see people forget all the time, and that's that they never actually reconnect their phone to the world. Now, before anyone jumps into the comments, yes, many phones will reconnect automatically, and that is great. But don't assume that they have, especially if you're landing somewhere unfamiliar, because here's what happens. You leave the aircraft, you follow everyone toward baggage claim, and suddenly you realize you need directions to your rental car shuttle or your hotel or your pickup location. You open your map and nothing. Your phone is still turned off, or it's still in airplane mode. Or maybe you just need to text someone who's picking you up or let family know you've landed safely. Or check your connecting gate if you're not actually ending your trip. Now you're standing in the middle of the terminal trying to troubleshoot your phone while hundreds of people stream around you. Instead, I like to make reconnecting part of my arrival routine. Once the plane touches down, I turn my phone on and make sure cellular service has returned. If it's having trouble, I may restart it. Now I keep my phone around my person at all times using a bandolier crossbody phone holder. I mean, this is amazing for me because it allows me to turn my phone on and then just leave it there hanging off my body, so that once I get off the plane, I can easily pick it up and check my next gate or send that little just landed text to my loved one, all without having to navigate getting my phone out of my bags. Ensuring I'm connected before I'm off the plane means that once I'm off, I can calmly go wherever it is I'm going next, and it only takes a few seconds. But it keeps me from having to stop later when everyone else is trying to get somewhere too. Mistake number 5, following the crowd without looking at the signs. This next mistake is really common, and it's something that I think almost all of us have done at least once. You get off the airplane, everyone starts walking, so you just start walking too. And after all, surely all of these people are going where you're going, right? No, not necessarily. Some are connecting, some are going to baggage claim, and some are just heading to customs. Or they're meeting family, or they're going to lounges. You don't know where they're going, but the crowd isn't your navigation system. The signs are. So one thing I always remind myself after landing is to just slow your eyes down before you speed your feet up. Just look at the overhead signs and actually read them. Where does baggage claim point? Where are ground transportation signs, rental cars, train, rideshare, connections, international arrivals? The airport is already telling you exactly where to go. You just have to pay attention. And following the crowd might work until it doesn't. And if you've ever found yourself walking 10 minutes in the wrong direction, you know exactly how frustrating that feels, especially after a long flight. One habit that's helped me tremendously over the years is making one intentional pause after leaving the aircraft. Not a long pause, just long enough to read the signs before committing to a direction. 10 seconds, that's all. And if you end up at an airport where it's like, dude, where are the signs? Just go ask a gate agent. It's much better to ask for help than to waste time wandering aimlessly. Mistake number 6, skipping the restroom before baggage claim or immigration. Okay, now let's talk about something that's easy to overlook, the restroom. After a long flight, a lot of people think, I'll just wait till I get to the hotel, or I'll grab my suitcase first. Sometimes that's fine, but sometimes that decision will come back to haunt you because baggage claim isn't always quick. Immigration certainly isn't always quick, and rental car lines aren't always fast either. Rideshare pickups are notoriously long to wait, and sometimes it's just hard to find a restroom once you've exited the secure side of the airport. Personally, if I know I need the restroom, and actually, who am I kidding? I always need a restroom after a flight. Then that's always going to be my first stop after I deplane. If it's an airport with a lounge, I pop into the lounge because not only are the restrooms nicer, I like the option to grab a latte or a snack on my way out. If there's no lounge, then the restroom I stop at is determined by my seat on the flight. Meaning, if I happen to be in first class and I'm one of the first off the flight, then I go to the first restroom I see after deplaning. If I'm sitting further back in the plane, then I skip the first restroom and I go to the second. This is because most people will go to the closest restroom to their gate. And if hundreds of people are getting off the same plane, then that restroom is guaranteed to have a line. By walking just a bit further, I'm more likely to find a restroom that's open and ready for me to use. Stopping at the restroom is also a great opportunity to wash your hands, stretch your legs a little, freshen up, brush your hair if you need to, or simply take a deep breath before diving into the next part of your journey. Now, if you're in danger of missing a tight connection, obviously that's different. Just, keep it moving. But if this is your final destination or if you have plenty of time, I think this little stop is worth it. Mistake number 7, confusing ground transportation for rideshare. All right, now let's head outside because this next mistake can easily cost you 20 minutes, especially if you've never been to that airport before. Assuming every rideshare pickup works the same way and that they're all at ground transportation, because they don't and they're not. Some airports have dedicated rideshare parking lots. Some have numbered pickup zones. Some require you to take a shuttle, and some don't allow pickups outside baggage claim at all. If you simply follow the first crowd you see, there's a decent chance you'll eventually get where you're going, but there's also a decent chance that you're going to be standing in the wrong place wondering why your driver can't find you. Instead, slow down for just a minute, and before you walk outside, open your rideshare app. See exactly where it wants you to go. Many airports now include incredibly detailed pickup instructions. Terminal, door number, level, zone, sometimes even the color of the pickup area. Take advantage of that information. It exists for a reason. Another thing I recommend is don't request your rideshare too early. I've watched people request an Uber while they're still waiting for their suitcase, and now the driver's arriving and they're still standing at baggage claim. Everyone gets frustrated. Instead, I usually wait until I'm very close to the designated pickup area, then I request the ride. By the time my driver arrives, I'm ready too. It makes the whole process smoother for everyone. And one more little tip. If you're arriving somewhere you've never been before, don't hesitate to ask an airport employee if you're unsure. They answer these questions all day long, and they know exactly where the pickup zones are. Sometimes 30 seconds of asking for help saves 10 minutes of wandering around outside. Mistake number 8, walking out of the airport without resetting. This last mistake is probably my favorite because it's just so simple, and yet I think it changes how your entire trip begins. Most people think that once they leave the airport, travel day is over. I actually think that's the perfect moment for one final reset. Not a big one, just like 30 seconds. Before I walk outside, I pause. I ask myself a few quick questions. Do I have everything? My phone, my wallet, my passport, my keys, my water bottle, my headphones. Have I confirmed where I'm going next? And do I know how I'm getting there? Do I need to use the restroom one more time? Do I want to refill my water bottle before I leave? And if I'm meeting someone, have I told them exactly where I am? If I'm ordering a rideshare, am I in the correct pickup zone? Then, and only then, do I walk outside? Because once those airport doors close behind you, everything just like starts moving again. Cars, traffic, hotel shuttles, taxi lines, people asking if you need a ride. Never ride with them. The pace changes. I like walking into that next phase feeling organized, not reactive. And one thing I've realized after decades of traveling is that calm travel doesn't happen because everything goes perfectly. It happens because you've built little systems that help you recover when things just don't. And that 30-second reset is one of my favorite little systems. Now time for the recap rundown. The biggest mistakes travelers make during the first 30 minutes after landing are standing up before checking your seat, grabbing your bag before it's actually time, leaving things in the seat back pocket, waiting too long to reconnect your phone and maps, following the crowd instead of following the signs, skipping the restroom before baggage claim or immigration, heading to rideshare pickup without confirming the correct pickup zone, walking out of the airport without taking 30 seconds to reset. If you enjoyed this video, I think you'll also love my video on what belongs in your personal item versus your carry-on. Because many of the things we talked about today, your phone, passport, wallet, chargers, medications, and other essentials are much easier to manage when they're already in the right bag from the start. If you're looking for more practical travel systems that make flying easier, safer, and a whole lot less stressful, I'd love to have you subscribe. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.